What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Joy of Animating. I am your host and friend, Skip Marazzi, here for a very special episode. We're about to embark on, and mainly because we got the cords that we replaced the cords that the cat chewed through. And so we are able to get back to the animation that we were doing. So glad to have you along here for the ride, and we will get started. We'll get started right away here. Um, as always, if you're interested in finding out more about what we're doing in Cox and Space, you can go to coxandspace.com and click on the link there. You can see the things that we have up for the clip that we have up on our main page. Yep. You can get some merchandise, our shirts, and whatnot, notebooks, clocks, pads, aprons, anything that you enjoy with our logos on it. The Dos Pollos Hermanos merchandise. You can get that. You can also check out. You can click on the link on the bottom. That was where I was going with that. You can click on the link on the bottom and join me on our Discord server and have a conversation about what you would like to talk about while we're on this show. You're welcome to. If you have tuned into any of the other previous shows, you'll find that we do cover a whole lot of different topics. The one thing we don't really tolerate on the show is hate. So if you want to talk about something that you love, I'd be happy to talk to you about that as well. So come check it out. So we were doing in the previous episodes we were working on the getting the set ready for the next shot, which we will be going back to. Right now we're going to be trying to finish this one up and then put this all together. It's been a couple of days, so I'll need to get to yes, get to understanding what it is that we're doing. Uh, cool.
Meow.
So one of the things that is great is I was able to get my cat's meow. I was able to capture that, so if you'll bear with me quickly. But we are listening to Crystal Wave today, so if you like what you're hearing and you like the hertz tones, whatever they're called, megahertz tones, you can always tune in there and give them a like and subscribe over there. Um, I always just kind of like that energy kind of listening to, so let me do this real quick. I'm over this cold, but I believe the cold probably got centered from, oh goodness, the allergies that I'm getting. So I did take some allergy medication and feeling loads better. So thank you for all of you who were concerned. Um, you're gonna see all the people that I know there on the left, and I'm sure that you're glad, and I'm glad that you're glad that we all know each other. Um, Probably not the way to be able to do that. Right. Hmm. No sound whatsoever. Uh, Facebook, as you see, does not work well in dark mode. So, uh, also, I do need to move all that stuff over to the correct folders so that we have that there. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm sure that you're excited to push forward for this scene and get this scene finished. So nope, and see that happen. Um, I was sharing with you guys quite a bit in the last couple of days, just how down I've been feeling. So again, no need to be concerned for your boy. Um, that's just par for the course with your friend here. So thank you for the concern that you had, and that's just a thing. It's just a thing that we deal with around here. Um, not my favorite thing, but I share it with you, not to be something that you should be concerned for per se. Uh, let's do this, and let's put this here. But just know that if you're a person who has feelings like that, sometimes you just everything hurts. I think is a way that I've described it quite a bit. Everything hurts, and you know, um, there's not a whole lot that you can do about that sometimes, but just know that that it does get better, right? You hear me today in the condition that I am, which is different than it was yesterday, right? And so, if I gave up yesterday, um, then it would not, I would not be here today with you. So, um, and that's why, and that's the big reason why. Um, you know, it can be tough, and especially either in states of mania or in states of depression. I just love that little meow. It can feel like it's the only thing that's happening. That no time exists outside that time. Um, I actually want to use both of these, so I'm going to do this, and then put this here at the end when she's like questioning what's happening. Um, so just use that if you can as like a point of reference, right? That um, that you've seen your friend go through the experience with not with you necessarily, but a similar experience, and that it might feel like it's forever, and um, sometimes, yeah, like sometimes it'll go for days or weeks depending on the circumstance, right, and the situation, but um, you can still have that assurance. Oh my God, too cute. That it's just a temporary thing to bring that up, and that if you stop too early, you'll miss the entire thing. Um, let's do a little fade in so we get less of that, like extra noise popping. In a lot of ways, the best thing for that is to just continue on, whether it's just take a shower, clean your room, um, you know, make sure that you eat some food, um, and don't believe the lies. Like one of the things was that was kept getting repeated to me. It's obviously from inside my own brain, but it's being repeated. It's like words or phrases that repeated from the feelings of other people, and it's just like you're a lousy piece of shit that no one cares about, right? And I had to be like, nah, I mean, uh, this is not true. This is not true. Um, just because I'm not seeing people around me right now, it doesn't mean that that's not the case. And maybe people don't care about me the way that I want them to, but
Peter Cox draws a massive gun, aiming it at the fat cat.
it's so loud. Is it loud for you guys? Let me check my volume here real quick. One of the things I did notice about all the projects that I have been posting is that this sound is absolute garbage, and I really do apologize for that. Um, yeah, that's kind of quiet.
Peter Cuts draws a massive gun.
So that is my cat, Cutie, and I did really want to get her actual voice in there, because it's so cute. She's just got such a cute little meow. And I think I shared in another previous episode that she doesn't meow all that much. And so, uh, yeah, it really is for a purpose. Generally, she's trying to express something. Now, me, I know that that's her hungry meow. So that's the amusing part for me. It's I mean, it is because this episode's all about these cats eating, and so that's her hungry meow. So also, I didn't get the sound effects that I need to. I'll have to add that later. The wah 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 or something like that. Uh, we're gonna have the beat sounds in there too.
Peter Cuts draws a massive gun, aiming it at the fat cat.
I do want to do a pop-in effect. I think that's what we're gonna work on this episode,
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
and then do that. So,
I don't think he would survive that.
and then we're gonna end with that as the scanning continues, right? I need to get Erin to record me. I don't think she would survive that. Because obviously this is a girl cat, but so here, gosh, there's so many things going on here. Wow, I wonder why that's open. Okay, we need to get rid of that. That doesn't need to be open. This also doesn't need to be open. Okay, I wonder why those are all open. Okay. This definitely doesn't need to be open either. Okay. So we're gonna have him doing the scritch, scritch, scritch in the sand. His hand is coming up and he's scanning the cat. And he does that.
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
Oh, we both say him. Oh goodness. Um, oh goodness. That's so funny. We recorded that. It's from the script because it is supposed to be a male cat being fat. I think one of the things that we wanted is we didn't want to make women feel uncomfortable by having a female fat fat female cat. Um, yeah, that's right. I'm checking my boobs right now. For the muscles that are there. Um, but it is obviously a female cat. We saw her come down the beach in the previous shot, so we should do that. So this, and then I think I worked out that I do want it to be a cut and not a not a zoom. So it'll just be like cut to a close up of him popping in, and I think I want it to be something like this, something thereabouts. But so we'll do this and take those out real quick, and then we need to put him in the shot. I do hope that you guys are okay wherever you're at, and that you know what you're doing with yourselves. As we're making this transition into the new millennium, in the transition in the stars, that you are finding success in all the things that you desire. The hell is this thing floating right behind him? Hang on. There's like a blue thing floating in the background behind him. Huh. It's not here. Okay. I do love where that bird ended up. So it is like right in the shot, and then you see it's still doing its thing. Um,
I'm gonna hit him with multiple.
okay, so obviously we're gonna do that there. So kind of what I want to do. Let's see, do we have Richard? You know what? I probably need to bust out Richard's beak too, or Peter rather. I need to bust out Peter's beak. Um, don't have it. Let's see what we got here. Um, I will be honest too, though. I mean, y'all like just being able to work on this, with you. I mean, I know you're right now. There's nobody present with me in the chat or anything like that. Um, but just working on it and knowing that, that we're, it's for a purpose. I have a role and a purpose, and right now it is this, right? um, having something to do made a big difference. So, um, you're catching right now, the value of, like what's like kind of keeping me going, in the midst of everything that's happening to me, and around me. Uh, Nothing tragic is happening, but, all of it is based off of, my own decisions and you know uh, choices, and, that is what it is. It very much is. It is what it is. But it is a bunch to work through, right? All of the choices that you make, all of them have repercussions, and there are things you have to deal with. So, uh, as that's the case, um, there's just things to do, with it. So in this time, it's kind of like an up in the air situation where I'm not quite sure what the next step forward is or anything like that. Um, and so, for me, that's I just don't like, and I'm sure most people, they don't like when they don't know what's happening next, while at the same time, like, I don't like things being exactly the same all the time. So, um, that is what that is. I seem to have lost my Peter, and that's completely disconnected to what I was just talking about. It was just a bit of a joke, about not being able to find this one that I thought that I cut out, but I can't seem to find it. Oh crap! Actually, I do need to find that one because I did a lot of cleaning up to make it what it was. Um, so, that is the case. This is the joy of animating, and we work on, animation for Cox and Space. And so that really, having this to continue to work on, really does mean a lot to me. The fact that I'm working towards the goal really does mean a lot, to me, uh, for for the sheer fact that, I think I mentioned to you, or I've mentioned on a couple of shows, previous. I'm not sure exactly which one that I may have mentioned this on, but a few years ago, I just really, I think this is it actually. Um, it was around Christmas time, and, nope, this is not it. Um, I was, I was in just a really, I was in a very lonely place, where, I hadn't, like, I was far away from my family. Uh, the people that I had spent a lot of time around, that, I was with, huh, they had all gone their own ways. Uh, and is this it? Yes, cool. Um, yeah, see, because I took the lips off the side of here, and there's no like ray on the front. I really need just this bit of him. I think I just never saved this, is what the deal is. While it's here, I'm gonna flip this. And so, I was really considering, being just not existing anymore. And one of the things that helped was one, I had this cute little cat, who I knew that she would be very panicked if she was left alone and she wouldn't have someone to feed her. So that was a consideration, which kept me like, well, you know, at least for her sake, I can do that. So, um, and then the other thing was that Aaron and I were in the middle of writing and recording the Christmas show, the Christmas Adam, the first take of it, um, and that really made a difference to me too, because I didn't want to let Aaron down, because we just become friends again. And we just started. I mean, we were always friends. Fortunately, Aaron's a really great guy. He doesn't give up on his friends. But we had just gotten back in contact with each other, and he had forgiven me for being a bag of dicks that I was, which I am forever grateful to him for that. And I didn't want to let him down. That there was have the show unfinished, right? Um, so that carried me through a really dark few weeks there, where I was just like, what's the point, right? Um, and I don't say that lightly. That's just having little things to keep you here, um, can make a really big difference. Um, so that's I would encourage you to find those things for yourself, because it's tough. It's tough sometimes. I mean, I know, right? I know it's tough. And so I don't downplay any of the toughness of life. You know, uh, and you can look at me and see, be like, hey, but you have all these advantages, right? Your race, your gender, the country you're in, um, you know, those things. And you don't really know me, but you do, you can see that I have some advantages that maybe others don't. And I think what I'm gonna do this tracking shot like we've been doing, where he comes in and comes up like that, and then he's gonna do a pop in on the side, because we don't have the bottom part of him because of the way that this cat was drawn. Um, so we'll cut to that real quick, um, and then we'll cut back to her so that we can have that. Um, but yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily know my whole situation, or anything like that. But just having reasons to continue on, do make a big difference. And when you don't have reasons, making up reasons, like having a cat, who needs to be fed and who is cute, and wouldn't know what to do without you, and having a project, that would be all those things. All those things can make a big difference. Um, get this volume right here real quick. There we go. So
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
still don't know how I'm gonna do this. Let's see. Does that, so it pulls out. He's doing the zoom, zoom, zoom. She does the meow, and then it's right about there. Cutlets. do this here. Something like this. That's at 13 seconds. Oh, you know what? Dang, yeah, well, okay. 13, 2, 3. Let's go there. Okay. We need to move this down. And then, so it's like, he does the walk in, again, sound effects and all that. And then it does a cut. I want to do, this is so silly, like, I don't know, how can I, okay. I want to do it like, it's so stupid. Like, I just want to have him like he doesn't appear, right? Like, he darts into frame. That's kind of the idea, is he, like, darts into frame. Where's this? 1428. Okay, so let's go to 1428. And then mark that position. And then we're going to go back. And then we're going to take this whole thing. Yeah, if you are watching this to see, you know, how expert animation is done, you are going to be disappointed, for sure, because, you know, it's just me fucking with layers and stuff like that. That is in essence, you know, what animation is. Although, I know that there's so much more to it now using Blender and whatnot. Take that for what that is. There we go. That's pretty slow, actually. That's a slow dart. So I think I need to do a couple of, like, you know, like have them like. I mean, that is pretty funny to have him come in like that. I think I'm gonna back it up a little bit though, and then have it happen a little sooner. Just a little bit. Like right here, maybe. And then I need to set up that rotation to be like he's running.
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
Okay, yeah, that needs to come a lot sooner. The multiple O's thing. That's way too.
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
And then the ray gun's gonna be like wah 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 wah. You know what I mean? And then she's gonna go, man. I don't think she can survive it. Oh, it's the left.
I don't think he would survive that.
Okay, so we need to change these lines so that they work. I am really struggling to fill this 30-second slot that I need. 27 seconds isn't bad, but it's not. So this is a true thing about me, is that I really appreciate when things are like perfect, you know. When you get the ingredients together for a meal and you put together the whole meal, and then it's exactly what you're looking for. That to me is like, it, you know, and there's no leftovers. It fits exactly what is necessary. You know, that to me. Now, things don't work out like that. That's not how it works. Most times there's always a little scrap or whatever like that. And so one of the things with the story calculator is like hitting, because I like pacing. You know, like I've come to understand that pacing is very important. You know, as far as like making sure that your audience doesn't get bored because you keep fluctuating short to long, you know, to medium size, so that it's fluctuating. So it has a rhythm to it, intentional rhythm to it. Um,
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
okay. And so, you know, half a page is supposed to be, you know, it's about a page per minute when you're writing. And so I tried to do the same thing with these storyboards, is that, you know, half a page is half a minute, right? Now, that's not how it works out, though, right? Like, obviously, a page per minute is an approximation, you know, depending on what you need from the shot, what happens when you take the shot, you know, when you like film it, what happens when the actors, as they say their lines, like how you get the musical cues to play out and stuff like that. And so it's not an exact one-to-one, um, but I missed an inappropriate joke to Logan, and he just messages me back. That's what I'm laughing about. But I do like it when it does come up, you know, exactly how it's supposed to. And I've been able to get it mostly for this one. This one is coming up slightly too short, but you know, there's not a whole lot going, and I think I really have stretched this as much as I can to like make this event occur. You know, we might go slower on this, although that's really great with the sound
I'm
effects.
gonna hit him with multiple O's.
That's really funny. And then we're gonna spend some time being like wah 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 wah. So let me put the wah 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 in here. Let me do that here. Put that on top of all this. I'll actually save before anything happens. Like the freaking cat chews through the cable or something. It's so crazy. He has no legs. I'm having to cheat this entire freaking shot because he has no legs. Maybe I'll do a pan over so we can get that. And then I do want him to look when he comes in. So I'm going to flip his head. Which means I need to do that here-ish. Where did we decide he came in? All the way? Obviously I can go right to the spot. Yeah, it has been so hot. It was so hot. How hot was it? It was so hot that I use these little like votive candle holders and put like a scented, you know, those things that you can get. They're like little wax that you put on like like a little melter to like make the air smell nice. And so I put that in the car for, you know, to make the car smell nice. And it got so hot that the adhesive that I used to attach that votive to my dashboard melted, and then the whole thing slid off and spilled, you know, wax everywhere. So it got pretty hot. It's like with the heat index, it's like 107, 109, something like that. It's like so hot. And so that's been something to do with, you know, global warming, which has been denied since the 90s. It's definitely hitting hard, and it is on us to stop that. I don't know if you know, if that you knew that was your responsibility, but it's on all of us to get a solution. And one of that has to do with legislation and greenhouse emissions. But the oil companies do not like the idea of that. They've been directly lobbying against it. So it means changing the whole way that, you know, things are done. Also, other things. You can comment below the other things that there are, but legislation is one of that. And it's just greed, right? It's just greed that's making that happen. So. But yeah, that's it's undeniable at this point. Every year they're like, this is the hottest on record, and then the next year they're like, this is the hottest on record. So the fact that it's getting hotter is a thing that we really really need to note, man's and do something about. So, 1419 is where we want this to flip. Right, okay, we gotta go. Oh, cool. I do appreciate the I do appreciate this program. It has a lot of really nice features in it, uh, and things like that. You know, Adobe has not been good to their customers, in that you used to be able to buy the thing, and they've done the thing which is more common now, which is to turn it to a subscription model. That being said, I do appreciate the fact that it does update. You have the most up-to-date one all the time, for the cost that you're paying for it, which is good, ish. I wish there was. I wish that there was something that you got from it. If I stop paying the subscription, I don't get access to it anymore, and I can't edit anything. Like, all the stuff that I've been working on is locked. I wish that wasn't true, but you know, uh, it is the corporate model right now for most things, these subscriptions, and it's kind of one of those things. But I will say that they have integrated some really cool stuff, and they make sure that you are up to date. I'm not a big fan of the fact that they've scraped all the data and they use it for AI training data, or that they're pushing AI tools so much, since we know that has such a bad effect on the economy, and on the environment also. But yeah, I do appreciate that they have done a really good job in making their program and then keeping it up to date. For the tools that you need to use. So, all right.
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
Okay. And then right about there, we're gonna have him look back. So 1527. Let's have that 1527. We can do it there. I did another reading today, tarot, the Zen tarot reading, on because I was just like, okay, so July is supposed to be a big deal, right? So I want to be prepared for what's happening for me in July. What should I know? And the first thing that it said was, you should know that there's a cycle of change that's happening. The wheel, if you're familiar with the traditional tarot. And so I was like, okay, cool, cycle of change. That's really cool. There's one that was in the middle that I can't remember, but the last one was the one that I've been seeing whenever this year has been talked about, like, consistently. And that is, the tower. The tower came up, like a major change happening. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool. So this is that month. And so, I've been stressing in some ways because like I said, I don't really like to not know what the future holds or where I'm supposed to go or whatnot. Man, for the life of me, I cannot remember what the middle one was. Oh, gotcha. It was this warning card that I don't know what it is, I don't remember what it is in the tarot, but it's this idea of, like, clinging to the past, and it was inverted. And so it was like, hey, so what you're doing right now is not, you're not gonna, don't hold on to the things that have come previously. Recognize that it's the changes is big and different. You can't hold all these ideas, and that was pretty cool to me that it was inverted, because a lot of the times when you see that card, it's like you need to stop living in your mind. You need to stop reliving your trauma. Need to stop reliving like the way that people think about you and behave towards you. But this one was like, hey, since you're not going to be doing that, and because of that, there is this like this major event that's changing for you. And I was like, all right, that's cool. That's a I appreciate that reading. But it was just, I was like, okay, I've kind of been expecting this big like lightning bolt, and it was supposed to be hitting like towards August, from what I could tell. And so,
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
and then we're gonna do that. We're gonna do this panic. Yeah, okay. So from here, that's where it's gonna be the final one. So I should mark this position. Let's make sure that we have it here when he turns his head back. Anyway, so for me, I was like, okay, deep breaths. I don't know what the future holds, but just be prepared in that the major changes are occurring, and with everything there's a season, and it keeps happening. That one inevitable thing about the future is that it continues to change, right? So okay, so glad for that, you know. And then also, I'm so impatient personally. I always want the thing, whatever it is, to be happening now. So, uh, just steady and hold the course and whatnot. Is the for me, like, just get the work done, right? And then see what happens. And I think that for like I've been like saying this to you too, like you don't know what the end result is going to be of anything. And so um that's why you continue to do the work, because and you can get caught up in the process, and worry about where it's going to end up and whatnot. And that never really helped anybody do anything, to be honest. Oh, that's right. Before it crashed, I forgot to save. When the cat chewed through the cables as I was working on it, I had fixed this so his hand was still scanning like it was supposed to. But that it's not doing that right now, so it means I have to redo that. All right, let's see this. So we do the sound effects of him walking through there. He's doing that. Does a little cat meow.
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
And then we have the O's tracking till we do that, which is fun. Okay, cool. So to here, let's do some fade-ins here because I can hear that little sounds in the background as I was trying to do. So the way that I captured it is, I told you that it's my cat's I'm hungry meow, and so they have a time that they eat. I try to keep them on a schedule so they don't bug me all the time about it, and they only bug me when it is time to do it. And so it was about that time, and she started being a little bit fussy, and then I was like, oh, maybe I could capture it now, and I was fortunate enough to. So. This, and then we're going to set the rotation point here, and then we're going to do just a little bit. Well, actually, it's here, so let's move that over there. I'm hoping that this major change that's coming up is a Cox and Space related event, so that we can see this guy get off the ground. that's what the big hope is, of course, that Cox in Space goes viral and we begin to start contract negotiations and all that, for what we're going to do that and start gathering the team and all that. That's what I'm hoping. Um, I also have no idea. I also have no idea what's going to happen next. So I am open to anything that happens next. It will be different. That's all I know for sure. It will be different. So she does a little meow, and we're gonna put those things in there.
Close.
And then he goes,
I don't think he would survive that.
okay. So the cool thing about this one is I don't have to animate that mouth for Peter. I do need to animate Richards. I'm having a meeting with Aaron tonight. We're gonna be on a Discord server writing the end of scene 2, and then talking about beginning scene 3. So that'll be good. I'll get him to record that line hopefully while I'm there. So get that. I do need his arm to be moving. See this one. Okay. Oh yeah, that was a pretty easy one, right? Move back to neutral, and it's gonna go back to up. So we're gonna do this and then put that here. But yeah, otherwise, whatever it is happening, it will be. No, I don't want it there. Actually, I don't think I want it. So it comes up. Cool, it goes all the way up and then it comes back to center. Don't like that. Oh, maybe that's fine. I literally forgot what I was just talking about. So, I'm thinking about the change that's coming up. But that's all I can be sure of what I'm thinking about. And he's gonna say his line. I want to see those birds rendered, so I can see if they actually gonna have that little that blue thing all the way around them. But oh jeez, hang on, because this is in the wrong place. A whole minute of rendering. What are we going to do? Oh, I think I was talking about like the process, getting caught up in the process, and how it's important to, no matter what it is that you're doing, whether you like it or not, whether you think it's working or whether it's not, to continue on. Although I will put that caveat on there that sometimes you can tell if something is not working. Like you can tell that the project or the relationship or the job isn't working out, right? And I wouldn't encourage you to like try to muscle through that if that's the case. Like once you find out like for sure that it's not working. There is a difference though between being uncomfortable with the process and being sure that it's not working. That's a personal call. I think that the uneasiness in the process you can identify because the thing is still bringing you joy, but you're in a difficult middle spot, right? It doesn't quite look right, and you still desire to see it continue. And the other thing is that sometimes you reach kind of like an endpoint in whatever it is. I'm working on a novel now, and it's a novel that I have written several different versions of. And I have gotten to the point in the versions of that novel where I was like, this isn't working. It's not it's not doing the thing that I want. In some cases it was pacing. In some cases it was the focus was in the wrong place. In some cases, like one of the versions that I've written is just it's just so big, like the entirety of the birth and death of the universe happens in 300 pages, right? And it's just so big, and the story just moves so fast that you can't really like get a grip on any of the characters. Some of them, like I love what was happening with the characters, but they were so far away from the story that I wanted to tell that like while that story was interesting, it wasn't the story that needed to be told. And so I stopped writing those. And some of them, the pacing was just off. That it was just like I was writing like huge amounts, or I was writing too small, and so and that was the case. And so I had to take a step back there. So I don't know. That's a tough call to make. I say push through that middle part. Um, this is an example here, though. As a comparison, is that like I'm seeing what's happening with Cox and Space, and I'm seeing these little things that aren't quite working, but I see with a little bit more work, I can make it work. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the same thing with relationships too. Is that you'll be like, there's some that you're like, there's this difficulty that I'm dealing with, and then you're like, but the person that you're with isn't bad, and as you see that there's a lot of really good things that are happening, and so there's no reason to like give up on that. Like there's effort for that. And then there's some cases where you like those people are good for a time, friendships you have for the time, and you cherish them for what they are, and then when that time's over, you have to it's you can miss the time that you spent together, but also recognize that it's time to do it's time to be somewhere else. And I possibly I'm not the right person to have this conversation with. As shoot, that's not what I wanted at all. This is what I want. As for me, I feel like I've met and stopped being friends with, not stopped being friends, but like, as I've moved on to other places and other events in my life, in the pursuit of the goal that I was after, particularly, that I had to leave a lot of friends behind doing the things that they were doing, and kind of fell out of touch with them, and so maybe I'm not the best person to talk to about that, but. But yeah, I feel like that's the case too. Like it applies both to the creative process and to situations in general. Although, while I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know. I don't. You don't. You probably shouldn't take relationship advice from me. Although I feel like those two things are pretty intertwined. I have always valued creative projects, the creative process, more than I have people. I believe. Shoot. And for good or for ill. No. Uh, and that that's the case. Um, and here's the reason why. I mean, here's the reason why is that the pursuit of art, like the pursuit of art, like, and especially for like developing the story calculator, like what is creativity and how do you capture it, and how do you continue, how do you I want to say the word subjugate, but that's not quite exactly what I mean. I mean more along the lines of wrangle. Like, how do you wrangle a creative idea into, how do you get it to submit into becoming something, right? And that pursuit for me has always been more valuable to me than relationships have been, whether it's friendships or closer relationships, the closeness of friendships, or even family, in some cases, is the pursuit of an idea, because I'm a Gemini, and the understanding of that idea has been so forefront in my brain, for so long, that that's why I laugh. I'm like, maybe I'm not the one to take advice from about relationships, because for me, there's a certain steadiness to pursuing an idea, even when it's elusive, where because it's almost like following like a pure concept. Um, well, that is certainly a thing. What the hell is that? You know, and here's the point directly that I'm making is that people always have their own agendas. They're always doing their own things. They always have their own destiny, right? And the things they're following their own inner voice as clearly as they can, in so many ways. Um, and I don't want to get in the way of that, and also I can't stop them from getting in the way of what I'm hearing, and what I'm pursuing, or have pursued. I feel like I have a good grip on it now, a better grip on it now, and so now it's just trying to do the work, and continue the demonstration of it. And other people have always had their own needs and desires to do what they need to do and desire to do. And the truth of the matter is that there's no one who's going to get you to your own goal except for you. And if you let anyone else try to dictate what it is that they believe needs to happen, then you're kind of missing what your own truth is, right? Here we go. Gotta get this little guy filling in like that. And that's the thing. Like I think that a lot of people get caught up in how things feel and the security of a person, and that has never been a secure thing to me. It has seemed like oftentimes that being involved with people has been a distraction to the ultimate goal for me, the big goal. And for good or for ill, as it is on there. So I seem like maybe you don't take my advice on relationships, because as a Gemini, I am pursuing ideas, right? And those pursuing an idea is like the wholeness, completeness of my life. It was one of the reasons that I didn't have kids. I chose not to have kids before this point. I talked briefly a couple episodes ago where I was like, kind of getting baby fever, which is really weird for me being 40 something. And now seeing these just little kids and being like, God, they're cute. I want one, to like raise and like hang out with and whatnot. But like, you know, they would have been neglected by me before this point, because of the pursuit of this idea, like this need to spend a lot of time. It's interesting how it was like spending a lot of time just, it wasn't doing nothing, but it would be like doing something that you like intangible. Some of it was there, I had inspiration in recognizing the fractalness of life, and really spending a lot of time thinking about like how that fractality like ties in to storytelling, like that shape, like what is a story circle? What does it mean when you say a story is a circle? How do you fit little things into big things? Spending a lot of time writing stuff that didn't necessarily go anywhere, like I was saying, the different drafts of this novel, to like run experiments to see what they were, and having the time to do that, because kids are expensive. Having another person takes up time from your life, and so having that, where where they became the focus versus, having time to muse, right? Was like, it was a trade-off. It was a trade-off. So for people who having that relationship as the primary thing, and finding out who's right for you and best for you, I would encourage you to do that, to stick that through. um, the thing that I'd say about this true about creative projects that is this difficult in relationships is finding something that gives you back that same amount of joy that you put into it. And for me, that's where like it is like, even when a creative project is frustrating, or I have to like abandon it or whatever, it's like that, it still had this element of joy in it. And so pursuing relationships that don't have that element in there, that is just, it's like constantly frustrating, constantly like wearing you out. Oh yeah, look at that, it doesn't have that thing around it. Is a good indicator.
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
There we go, we're gonna follow this. Whoa, 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 whoa.
I don't think he would survive that.
Okay, and that needs to be closer. I think we're gonna do a 25-second shot. Hey, I'm up on the Discord right now. Let's go and see if we can't find the. I wonder. You can see a bunch of things here. Oh gosh, there sure are a lot of things, aren't there? What I was looking for was, I don't know. This might not be the quickest way to find what I'm looking for. In fact, it might not be on here at all. Here are a bunch of episodes, if you're ever wondering. Where you can find them. There's me using AI before I realized what was wrong with it. No, I'm not sure this is right. I was looking for the music, that, like Luna's song, but it's gonna be buried pretty deep here. As where someone did some modeling for the Cox in Space, so that's cool. Oh wow, yeah, oh wow. All right. I will have to look in another place for that. I will say, hey, you can always come join us on the Discord if you want to. Go to coxinspace.com and then click on the Discord link where we can have a conversation here. I don't have to just monologue. And then also, while you're up there, click join the crew. That will take you to our Patreon. And then for $5 or $25 or $100 a month, you can help support us. And we would be very much appreciative of that, if you would. So I think the thing that I need to do, that meow is in place, and then I'm going to adjust his dialogue a little bit back. So here. So, yeah. What I was trying to check was the length of that song, which I think is over 30 seconds anyway. Which I think actually I could do here instead. Jeez. Wub Wizard, Josiah is our musician, and you'll see that there's a bunch of music here from him. Let me see if... Man, I wish I remembered where I'd put any of the... Here it is. It's a minute 15. Oh, that is a rough, yeah, for sure. A real rough. That's wild. That is like that. have no idea where I put this song. This is crazy. It might be on the other hard drive, too. So, I know that I know that it's here somewhere. I'll need to dig it out so that, um, so that I can put it in here for the next one. Nope. Perhaps it is not. Because this was all stuff that was supposed to be upcoming. Yeah, it must be on the other hard drive. Unless, oh jeez. I think, yeah, this is much later than that. Much later. Alright. I also have it saved on my phone, so let me just see if I can. Boy, do I hate the search function of Macs, because for some reason it will search everything and not just the file that you're looking at. So, all right, that's fine. Let's do some animation on the getting his laser effect to work. So we'll put this in here. And then we'll stretch this out this way. And then we do need to flip this. This has got a horizontal flip on it, so let's do that. And we'll put that one up here. Oh, Lord. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with it, and there might be multiple ones that are going to be doing their thing. But I do know it's something with expanding, so it takes up more. Then also I want it to like glow or like warp. It's kind of the idea. So you know what I might do? I'm gonna put it on a whole different layer because I think I want to do like multiple of them. And I don't think I want to do it on this one because it's already so crowded with stuff. Lasers! I'm gonna shoot them with my laser. Anyway, if you guys haven't heard this song, it is really fun. I've mentioned, I think, a bunch of times now that it's my ringtone to wake up. I was never a fan of, I think we only got 25 seconds or something. It needs to be like 12, let's say 15 seconds of putting music in the show. I just, whenever people start singing on stage, like in improv, it always feels like a cheap cop out, you know. They could express their emotions, you know. Instead, they're singing about it, you know. And so, to me, I'm always like, yeah, okay, you know. And I have never once felt the need to, you know, bust out in the song. But you know, Aaron does like him a lot. You know, he's a big fan of musical numbers in general too. And um, so you know that's his, you know, that's his like, you know, he loves it. And so the reason that they're in the show is because of that. And but that song, it's you know, the musician, the singer is Kate Leo, who is a fantastic singer, and we really wanted her to embody this, like, you know, she's a tramp and I love him kind of like vibe, you know, from Lady on the Tramp. And so she did. She really did. And so Chandler Fleming is the one who laid down the piano for it. And it's there's something magical about the combination of those two simple things of what happens. So uh, okay, we need it to be about half that distance, so it grows faster. And so yeah, so you know, I wake up to it. Um, cool. And then it disappeared. And so yeah, I'm really excited to finally be able to put it into the show, and officially, and then have her sing it. So let's do this, and then do this, then do this. Something like that. Something like that. Maybe a little closer together. And then it's interesting how they overlap, right? Um, I do want them to fade in and fade out. So let's do that. And then I do want this a little more latent here, you know, like, so like, yeah, like kind of like that, since I don't like an effect. I don't know if I can get this one exactly onto here, but let's hopefully, nope. Wonder if I can. Duration's 2 seconds. Okay, so let's get that up to 2 seconds. That's better. Okay. And then we're gonna do this. Let's do that. Do this. And then kind of stack them up. And then maybe we'll stagger them a little bit. So that they're not all hitting it all the same. Okay, yeah, there you go. More like that. Okay, now we want to take this one and then have this thing warping a little bit. And we have to fade out to be kind of random too. Something like that, probably. Right? Yeah, that's cool. Okay. I'm going to take the laser effects here, and then we're going to put them here. That's not, oh, gotcha, because that's the wrong one. We'll use this one here, laser. And then be a lot earlier. Let's have him pop on and say that.
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
Okay, that's got to be a lot faster though. Okay, also we need the position to be here. Then we need to stagger like the height too, so they're all kind of like. But we're gonna do that. Let's do that here. Bam. Okay, cool. And then so we're gonna make it like ba 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 ba, right? Yeah, that's cool. Okay, nice. So here is the O-ray. Finally, we get to see what the O-ray looks like. You know, that's been a it's the weapon that they use. It puts more oxygen into their body, so that you know people feel better. Um, let's do like that. Let's put an echo glow on that to see how that responds. I think there's a random. There we go. Oh, bam, bam, bam. Cool. Yeah, that's fun. That's real fun. That's really fun. I'm glad that random was working. Not sure if. I don't know if I want to wiggle on there. Although that might be. No. That might be what I'm looking for. Maybe this. Ooh, not like that though. What if it's not on this one though? What if we put it on? Let's take that off of there and put it on this. So that they all hit kind of randomly. Like that. And then let's do something like that. So they're all kind of blinking. So it's like, oh, that's not working at all now. That's interesting. Let's change that randomness a little bit, and then we're gonna do this, copy this, and then put that here, like this, and let's give the seed something like cool, and then change this, like that. Yeah, there we go. Just so it's like a little bit more like random about what it's doing. And then do another right here. If you guys are welcome, if you're tuning in, welcome to the show. This is the Joys of Animating, and we're enjoying animating Cox in Space. You're welcome to, of course, check out what we're doing at coxinspace.com, coxenspace.com. And if you'd like to join the conversation, you can always jump on the Discord through that link going to coxinspace.com. And you are, of course, welcome to do that. Glad to have you here. We're probably going to be going for another, I don't know, it looks like another half hour, 40 minutes or something like that. I'm trying to get these all to come together. Wow, that might be too much. Dang, it looks like it is too much, actually.
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
It's kind of too much.
I don't think he would survive that.
That strobe light effect. That's too bad. So let me take those off. Maybe blending will make it work better. Okay, yeah, a little bit subtler, more subtle, as they like to say, in the places that we're from. Let's do that like that. And we'll go right here. So, as you'll see, I'm not a professional animator. In that I don't have formal education. I am just messing with what I've got to try to achieve the effects of what I want to do with it. That's fun.
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
It does need to be faster though.
I don't think he would survive that.
And then I'm gonna need a longer trail of them, it looks like. So I'm gonna have to create a bunch more of these, or yeah, I'm gonna have to create a bunch more of these. I could put it back into the original, this one, and do another one that picks up right about here, so that it starts the same pattern over again. Because most of this, the end of this is blank anyway. Yeah. So let's put another laser into there. For me, and I've mentioned this on the show a bunch too, but just for me, the fact that I don't know how to animate is not a big deterrent. In that, I think that all creative projects, you're gonna run into things you don't know, and you're just gonna have to work through that. No, actually, you know what I want to do? I don't want to put a new one in. I want to copy this one exactly, because of all the attributes on it. So, when it came time that Cox and Space needed to be animated in order to keep moving forward, and we didn't have someone who was stepping forward to do that, I was like, okay, well then, it's going to be me. I'm going to figure out how to do that. So that it could keep moving forward. To me, Cox and Space is a very special project. And that it's about spreading happiness across the universe, and I think that that's a message that does need to be shared and spread, and so that the project would die, for lack of an animator. I was like, I can't allow that, right? I can't allow that to be, and so took a step out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to be the one who, for good or for ill, it's either going to work or not, right? And people are going to be like, that animation sucks, or I like it, but that's going to be I'm going to be take the flak for it, right? And so for me, that being wrong about something is not a big deal at all. That's definitely part of like the creative process. Is like you do things, you make mistakes, or you succeed, right? And that's all you can do. The worst thing you can do is not try. And so that's where I was like, well, I think I have some ideas of how animation can be done. I've been thinking about it as we've been working on it, and so let's see what happens. Let's make something happen. And I've definitely fallen in love with the animation style. It's not exactly perfect yet, and I don't really want to go through the process of like cutting up Jack's work or whoever the illustrator's work is. As we go forward, we'll find more ways to You know what I also want to do? I kind of want like a warping effect on these. I haven't quite got a warping effect on it that I want. So as we go forward, I'm probably going to have him draw like individual characters and all the background as well, and then draw the characters on top of that and that sort of thing. So that there's stuff to pull from, so that I don't have to do all the patchwork like I've been doing. But obviously that comes with a higher pay or higher cost for us rather. And so that's really fun. Let's take a look at it on the Zoom. Um, and so because there's just more work to do. And so with that, uh, that's just we're gonna have to get the ball rolling as far as like getting producers on board to do it. And also, it would be great to be working with a team of people who are doing it for the sheer fact that it does take quite a bit of time to do all the things. It would be great to work with somebody who has experience with animation. And then with this, they can kind of see the style of animation that we're doing and then be able to do it in a way that is less kind of choppy. Although I do kind of like the 2D animation effect that we are doing with that. Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to get them to rotate. See if I can. I don't know. I want them to spin. Like, I want them to be, like, spiraling out. So, we'll see. I think I have to do that on the original laser one. Like, I need the original laser one to, like... Oh, I can do that. I can set the rotations up so that they can rotate a bunch of times. Actually, I know how to do that, and I'm about to. But yeah, that's ideally that's what we would be doing going forward is having us working on this full time with the people who know how to illustrate, work in the illustration, know how to animate, work in the animation, and then we have the equipment and the time to get really good recordings, lay down the great music that Josiah does, be able to put in our own Foley versus the finding sounds throughout across the internet, and so it will begin taking on its own quality, and be less hacked, hacked and slashed. So that's what the next step is for us. This is really just putting it together so that people can see what it is that is happening with it, so that they can get an idea with it. Saying that I have an idea is one thing. Lots of people have lots of ideas, and this says that we had an idea and we worked 2 years to get it executed. And we will continue to work to get it finished. So that is how we do it, what we're doing. And this project really is a joy. It really is a joy to be working on. I feel like the more people who see it, the more it's going to bring joy to their lives as well. So we hope that continues to happen. I do very much wish that I had a universal translator so that we could speak with people from all over the world. I recognize when I invite people on the show that there's so many different languages spoken all across the planet, and so I'm really speaking to just a few countries in particular that can share the same languages as me. So again, do the little scanning bit. Doing that cool birds in the background.
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
There we go. That's fun. Perfect.
I don't think he would survive that.
And then we're gonna get that line to be correct, and then we'll probably do the cutout there. 26 seconds. Okay, not exactly 30 seconds like I was hoping for, but that's pretty close. And I'll take that. So let's set up this rotation to do the thing. And we'll set that there, that rotation like that. And then by the time it gets here, we want it to have rotated like a bunch. Let's say that many times. So we see that like crazy. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly how I want to do it. We're gonna do that on all of them. We're gonna do that here, and then we're gonna do that here. Yes. Okay. Cool. And then we'll just do that on all of them. Huh. They're not exactly the same, are they? Because it's on different time frames. Oh no. No, yeah, no. Dang. Okay. So then we actually have to do it like this. Um, that's the final one. We're gonna do a copy and paste this number here. Because it's taking it from one time frame that is off its own map and then onto a different time frame. But what we want to do is actually this. We'll start that at 0 here. Um, Guys, if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, people of the audience, if you don't know, I really love films. In fact, so much so that we do a film review on Sundays, 3 to 4:30 Eastern. Um, did I take that off the same one? I did. Um, but if there's a movie you that you like, and you would like us to review, you should post in the comments below, or go to Sick Flicks with Dylan and Skip on our Discord and post a suggestion there too. Because I do really like films of all sorts, and so I always like to hear what people like to watch, and I would love to review those movies. Dylan and I will do it. Dylan and I will both watch like literally anything, and so we don't necessarily agree or even like those things that we watch, but we will watch them because we're interested in film and how film works. So yes, yes. Oh my God, yes. Okay. Here, check this out. Let's do this here. Okay, let's do this here. We're gonna render it here on the bottom. So yeah, we would definitely like to hear those what films that you like to see, that you like to watch, that you'd like to hear us review. Don't get mad if we don't don't like them though, because we might not. Just the nature of taste, right? Like beauty or aesthetics are in the eye of the beholder. So, you might like things for nostalgic reasons. You might like things for style. You might like a certain genre of film, and we that doesn't necessarily jive with us. But there'll be reasons for that. The things that I always look for in films are the story, of course, that the characters do and say things that make sense, that will make sense to them, right? And they're justified within that the reality that they're presenting. So that's really important. And then that everything has kind of like an effect, like that. Nothing is dropped as the film goes forward, that every little piece adds up to the big picture, and that all the forces are kind of pushed towards each other to get the characters to a point, and I like a film that has more going on underneath than on the surface, but also I really like popcorn candy films too. So there's that. If something is just an empty ride, though, like it's the same love story you've seen before. Um, I don't know. I guess that's not necessarily true. But without unique features, you know what I mean? Like, um, that this is kind of a hard one for me to define. I apologize, because I'm just thinking the difference. Like, so not a huge fan of the Fast and Furious series because it is really just selling cars, and they move fast and whatever, furiously. And you can say, but they have unique features in it because they're not just boosting DVD players anymore. Now they're saving the world, right? So there's that. I'm not a huge fan of like just like action fight sequences. Although I do really like the John Wick series. I think they did a really good job on those action fight sequences. With the exception of John Wick 4, the conclusion of it, and that's really only because of the story aspect, and that's the only thing for me that for the John Wick series, I kind of like fall off. Uh, all for them is they have really great action sequences that you've never seen before, and some really great cinematography. There is an over-the-head shot where they go through the whole apartment. And it's like a continuous shot as he's going through the apartment. In John Wick 4, which is fantastic. But then, what does it add up to except for more fighting? Is kind of the drag of that. Whatever that is. But you can always comment if you want us to check out something. One of the things that we do love in the films, in whatever film we're watching, is practical effects and how they're used successfully. So if that's something you like, also, and then for me, character development, which leads to story development, huge. Those are huge things for me. That's kind of what I will watch any movie if the characters are making choices that drive the narrative forward. And that's why I like a lot of Lifetime movies. That was the other example I was thinking of. I was like, the same love story again, but I go hard for Christmas, Lifetime movies. But I know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, she or he's, stranded in a small town on the holidays. And runs into the small town girl or guy. They have a spark. She resisted initially, but then gives into the magic of Christmas. It's very normal stuff, right? But I would say that it's always these character choices that kind of brings them together. So that's what it is. Maybe I'm just a softie for that genre. And also, I love your classic like slasher horror movie that doesn't need to have a whole lot extra after that. I love ones that have a twist, and I love ones that have villains that are interesting for sure. Some of them, the newer Chuckies, are way more interesting than the the early Child's Play series, because of that. And I like what a lot of the modern horror movies where they've been going with a lot of their styles. I have not got a chance to see Obsession yet, but I think that I'll probably like it. Although it's a different type of horror, not really a slasher, right? From what I understand. But like things like that. But I did get to watch the Scream of the Banshee, which is I believe a made-for-TV movie with Lauren Holly, which I enjoyed quite a bit. Now I will tell you that I love Lauren Holly from Dumb and Dumber and Picket Fences, and she's not young in this movie. It's more recent, and to see her still. Like to see her have developed as an actress in the time since Dumb and Dumber and Picket Fences, was really cool. Like it was really cool to see. She's doing like she used to do like a starry-eyed kind of like girl, and like, oh hi, and she was doing like a really grounded character, which I appreciated a lot in this like very very like over the top like monster film about, of course, a banshee that screams. It also had another famous actor who I won't spoil because it's supposed to be a surprise. Nice.
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
There you go.
I don't think he would survive that.
Okay. So that's and that'll be a fade out. There's something about this that isn't working. And I think it's because they're too uniform. The way that they're spinning. I think I need to add like a wiggle onto this. These guys, and maybe. Okay, but let's make them random, right? so they're not all doing exactly the same thing. Um, yeah, that might work. Let's see how this looks once we get these guys in here. Wait a second. Ooh, okay. That is pretty fun. All right, where's the last one? Does this one have it on there yet? And I might need to tone him down a little bit, but um, interesting. Okay, interesting. Let's see how that looks here. Oh, fun. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm liking that a lot more. Maybe I'll need to, I don't know. Absolute chaos of those things swirling around is super fun, though. It is gonna fade out on those. He's gonna say that line. Interesting. I think that they need to be a little bit less chaotic and um, let's see. Let's bring this complexity down a little bit. Yeah, more like that. Okay. How about this one? Okay, that's fine. This one, let's do this down a little bit. Somewhere in this range. And then this one here. Oh yeah, that's a little bit much. I think that might be what's adding to the... It's almost like swarming, and I'm not real happy with that swarming bit. All right. That's cool. Okay. And then I think I'm gonna have these fade out a little sooner, maybe. Same with this one. Okay, I think that's coming up on what we're looking for there. And got that. I'm gonna do this. So that works for you. Guys, we've been kind of all over the place in the discussion today. It's been kind of, creative philosophy, but more like personal. One of the things that I was talking about yesterday that I really got hit with today was I was trying. I was noticing that it's not necessarily that. I try to let people know where I'm coming from, right? Like I try to help them understand why I did a particular thing. And I ran into that again today. And when I did it, what happened was I confused the situation more than it needed to be because I was trying to explain my point of view. Because I think that people see it, and it's not even meant like this, but like they see it as a corrective action, that I'm doing something because I think that I know better than them. And so, that it added to the confusion of the situation because, they were like, then they had to explain why that was, why they were doing what they were doing. And you know, I've got to just learn to keep my big mouth shut when it's not necessary, you know. I feel like that's one of the things that I've been like running into in general, is that you know, I see something going wrong, or I see something that, you know, I feel like needs explanation. And maybe most things don't, you know. Maybe I don't need to be understood as much as I think I do. You know, and that's tough. I don't feel like it's coming from a place of ego, but apparently, because that's what's coming up now in my brain as I'm mentioning it, that it's coming from this like place of like, I just need to like make sure that I don't look like an idiot or something, you know, or that when things come back later, that they don't look at me and be like, well, why didn't you do something, right? And you know, so it's me. What I value in myself a bunch is personal responsibility, right? That if I see something that is out of line in my own life, that I address it immediately. That if, you know, if I've done something incorrect, that I immediately take steps to like fix it. And so, you know, I think that spills over to other people too, and I think that makes them feel like I'm holding them accountable in ways that I'm not, where I'm really just trying to hold myself accountable, but like I'm making other people who don't have that desire feel bad about themselves. And you know, I don't really want people to feel bad about themselves, and I don't really insist that because I'm holding myself to a standard, that other people are required to be held to that standard as well. And so that's where I like the difference between what I desire for me and what other people need for them. I have to like recognize the difference on, and that's I'm gonna keep working on it. I'll report back as if that works or not, or how that works out. Because I feel like it's kind of a double-edged sword, you know. If I don't do something before it goes wrong, then it does go wrong. Then most times I'm the one who's going to have to do something about the thing that went wrong, you know. Um, and so that's that's tricky. That's real tricky for me, because you know that is the case. And I think that's why I do it, is because um, you know, I am the one who's gonna end up cleaning up the mess at the end, and so you know, trying to prevent the mess so that I don't have to clean it up is the pain. But like then it doesn't allow people to make their choices and make their mistakes. So I don't know. Like I said, a double-edged sword, right? And you know, I'm not responsible for everybody, but in environments that I do exist in, people, whether they want to admit it or not, people look to me to be the leader. And I don't really like that. I don't. But maybe it has something to do with my demeanor, and maybe it has something to do with the deepness of my voice, or something. Yeah, I don't know. But you know, it happens. It happens a lot. That people will look to me to take charge when something happens. Okay, we need sound
I'm gonna
effects.
hit him with multiple O's.
Okay, that can be a little bit more delayed.
I don't think he would survive that.
It's almost too much. That wiggle is almost too much. And it's also, they're still spinning at the same speed. Okay. So okay. Let's take a look at this. Let's spin range degrees. Uh, let's make this real small. Let's make it real close to it together, right? We're gonna do the same thing with these ones, just make them real close together. And then what I'm gonna do, oh wow, that's okay. Let's do this one, make it real small. Oh, also, you know what? These guys are they're not type boxes. They're operating within this. Okay, so that's why they're spinning so erratically like that, within that same space. Let's drop this down. And then do the same here. Make sure that that's all down here anyway. And then we're going to change up this rotation so it's not quite the exact same. I'm gonna leave one of them the same. What? Okay, it's already like that. Huh. Oh, crap. Did I put a new point? There it is. That's the point I was trying to get to. Let's do that here. Drop that back, and then we're gonna do this one. Drop this back. And then this one here. Drop it back. So cool. There's a little bit of variation. Okay, I think that'll work better. That spin is crazy though. Okay, let's see here.
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
I don't think he would survive that.
Okay, and we're gonna do this here. Been doing a lot of rendering here this episode, so thank you for sticking that out with me. I appreciate you being here with us as we're working these things out. The joy of animating, right, is render time. We're doing something that's really not complex, very two-dimensional, up and down, flat layers on top of each other, working together. I know that, I think, which one was it? One of the Toy Stories, maybe the original Toy Story, the render time of the film was several days, because after they'd done all the pieces and put all the pieces in, it was they had to, then get it agree that those points lock those points in place. And I think that it was the same thing with Monsters Inc. Because Sully's fur, he's the monster. He's a furry monster, right? His fur is a bunch of data points, right? Like that's all it is. It's thousands of data points. And so to lock that in finally as he's moving in those frames, like the computer has to calculate all those things and then draw them in to make them happen. Right now we're just saying this thing is here and then it moves here, but it's not individually making the frames up. That's what rendering is, right? Is individually making the frames up. And so we're fortunate in that the render time, and I know it's with processing speed, it's gotten down to be quite a lot less. I mean, our computing power has gotten greater over time. Obviously, South Park can't take days to render because they turn around episodes every freaking week. Those guys got a lot of admiration for them, although I don't really appreciate the show itself. The humor is populist, right? It's for anybody. It's supposed to be very accessible, which I can appreciate in that. And it's a very broad audience, but also that means that it doesn't. This is such a weird thing to say because it is very smart. They are very smart in the jokes they make, and they've made some very intelligent episodes over time. And then also, one of their characters is a Christmas poo. And so their recurring joke is, or it was anyway, that they were killing off one of their characters. And so it's not. It doesn't. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be very. You don't have to think too hard about the jokes. Obviously, that's why it's popular. Obviously, and that's appreciated. And with Cox in Space, that's kind of what one of our goals has been too. So for me to be like, oh, I don't know, I don't think I'm superior to South Park because they have obviously been successful for a very long time, and you've got to respect that. And same thing with The Simpsons and Family Guy. You have to respect that they've been very popular for a very long time. They're doing something right. But it doesn't appeal to me. It just when I sit down to watch something, most times honestly it's not comedy. It's very rare that I'll watch like your standard type of comedy. I've never seen any of the scary movies or any of that. It's very rare that I'll sit down to watch a comedy, and mainly it's because of the degree of silliness that's involved. Although I love silly movies, so it's hard for me to say why that is. I'm not sure exactly why that is. I've never seen an American Pie all the way through either. Although on the other hand, like really like dry absurdist comedies, like the Royal Tenenbaums, which I don't like either. I have a hard time with those ones too. But one of my favorite comedies, there's two that are my favorite comedies. One is Jack and Jill, which is Adam Sandler playing both Jack and Jill. And White Chicks, which is the Wayne brothers dressing up as white chicks, and I think both of those movies are hilarious. Because they're just like silly camp. I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other so we just reviewed Lars and the Real Girl this weekend, which to me is such like a cute like absurdist comedy, right? And I really, really enjoyed that. But like absurdist comedies like Coming to America or it's funny, the cat meow. There she is.
I'm gonna hit him with multiple O's.
Or any of the like Richard Pryor. There you go. That's really fun.
I don't think he would survive that.
Cool. And then we'll fade out on those. So that works. That works. So we are coming up to we're coming up to the end of the show. I think that we've made some really good progress. I'm gonna layer in some sound effects. I'll probably do that off camera, only because it's kind of tedious, and like the noise that it makes and all of that will be kind of a pain. But I'll get those in there. This shot is more or less done, with the exception of the two lines that we need to fix. and I'll have those done. And then so it's layering the beach sound, the scanning sound, the O sound, and those two lines. So it's really just audio from here. So what we're going to be looking at in the next episode is finishing up the set for Luna. I need to find that soundtrack for it, and then getting her song in place. And we're kind of more or less coming up on the end of this whole sequence. So I'm really glad you've been here to hang out with me for this and get to see this in the future or in the present as you've been watching. Thank you for hanging out on the Joy of Animating. I'm not sure. After we finish Luna's sequence, I'm not sure what's going to happen next. That's kind of when things are supposed to be changing around here, so I'm excited for that, about what's going to happen next in that. I really, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what we're gonna, where this is going to next. But I'm glad that you've been here for the ride. I am Skip Marazi, your host and friend, and this has been the Joy of Animating, a behind-the-scenes podcast for Cox in Space. If you want to check out what we're doing, you can go to coxinspace.com, coxinspace.com. Check that out. See the clip that we've got up there. Look for the new clip that we have coming up. You can get merchandise up there. You can watch our old shows. You can find all the times and whatnot. So we're glad